Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of our NASCAR Heat 5 career mode here on the channel. Today we have race 2 of the playoffs coming your way from this round of 16 after some heartbreak, of course, that we suffered in Atlanta, where we saw Chase Elliott steal the victory and punch his ticket into the round of 12. Now he has 2 wins on the season as we head into a bit of a wild card couple of races here, starting with Talladega, and then the round ends with Watkins Glen. We had some big news this weekend on Chase Briscoe's future. It was confirmed with Stewart-Haas Racing shutting down and selling to Dale Jr. and Junior Motorsports. Well, guess what? Chase Briscoe is going to a 4th expanded RFK car owned by Brad Keselowski. He will pilot the number 98 Ford Dark Horse Mustang next season. As you see the playoff order very briefly, Shane Van Gisbergen, Alex Bowman, Carson Hocevar, and Keselowski, the 4 drivers out, coming into the action in Talladega, where we know anything can happen. We have some brand new colors on the car, purple and white Yahoo paint scheme. Cachinero whipped this up a while back. It looks absolutely fantastic. Qualifying, you guys know with the deal here, it's going to be starting from the back. So in qualifying, all the way here in 40th place behind William Sawalich, making a start here for Legacy Motor Club this weekend in Talladega as we look up towards the front of the grid. Of course, starting position does not matter here, but Christopher Bell, our teammate, on pole position alongside Bubba Wallace, Gregson, Logano, Blaney joining him in the top 5, Hamlin and Keselowski there, P6, P7. Truck Series, Xfinity Series action all happening this weekend, and it was Daniel Hemrick actually picking up the victory behind the wheel of his number 26 Andretti Global truck over Josh Bilicki, Lane Riggs, and you see the rest of the finishing order there on your screen going down the order with all the way at the bottom of the grid, Tanner Gray, Colby Howard, Timmy Hill as well. We were in the Xfinity Series race, however, this weekend. We were behind the wheel of our number 19 Top Golf Toyota Supra. This is the regular season finale in the Xfinity Series. So we are going to have to do the playoffs manually in the Xfinity Series because of the fact that I myself have won races in the game. Obviously puts me in the playoffs even though we're a part-time driver, quote unquote. So right now the last 2 drivers fighting for spots in the playoffs on points, well, Connor Zillish currently is the last one in unless we have a new winner tonight, and Rajah Caruth is trying to point his way in, and then just ahead of both of them is Sheldon Creed in case we do have a new winner here. Now, as it was quickly Ryan Vargas actually moving through the grid. He had passed me on the inside and I had really gone nowhere in stage 1. I was still P8 here at the end of the stage. It was Jesse Love in the 19 coming through to win stage 1, so great that a Joe Gibbs Racing driver is able to pick up the first stage victory. And stage 2 wasn't a whole lot different. I actually lost even more spots early on, just struggling to find track position here now as we were closing in towards the later part of this stage. And I would start to get things rolling a little bit as the run went on, but Ryan Vargas had gotten out in front and was just dominating this race, driving away from the field and suddenly putting himself as the favorite to win this race, and that would be a new winner into the playoffs if he can pull it off, which would put Connor Zillish out for Trackhouse Racing, as he has been consistent late in this season, but he has not been able to win. So Vargas would win stage 2. Stage 3, I was starting to continuously work my way forward. Up front there, you got Jesse Love, Nick Sanchez as well, the 21 of Chase Purdy. As you can see, though, Ryan Vargas off in the distance, driving away, and I would get up the inside here of the 19 and pass Jesse Love, or sorry, the 20, as we would as well get a pass done on Nick Sanchez, and we were continuing to go forward. We would pass Chase Purdy as well once I got up to the outside, but running out of time, a full second between myself and Vargas, and it looks like he might win his way into the playoffs. So now, trying to run him down so I can, at least get the win myself, but it never happened. Ryan Vargas leads the way into turn 3 and 4 for the final time, and out of turn 4, Vargas wins his way into the playoffs, puts Connor Zillish out for Trackhouse Racing. Unfortunate there for the Xfinity Series rookie, who I still think has a chance to go Cup Series racing, as he has started to really show some development as the season has gone on. But nonetheless, you see the order there. Sheldon Creed at least into the playoffs without a win this season, so that's going to be good for him. As you can see, the rest of the order at the bottom of the grid. Now, we're ready for race 2 of the playoffs here in the Cup Series from Talladega.
It's the land of the unknown. Talladega Superspeedway today has the ability to make or break playoff runs for big names. Who's a name we should have our eyes on today, guys?
To make their playoff run, I have Brad Keselowski, bottom of the grid after a bad Atlanta, and now he's at a track where he has had lots of success at. He can make his season today.
And on the flip side, I think a guy like Kyle Larson could be at risk of losing it today. He's had a lot of rough results here, and it could set him up bad if it happens today.
Gary Owen, it's Lee Diffie and the NBC boys in the booth. You got us?
Yeah, I got you.
I'm sure you felt like you had a win stolen from you last week. What's the goal today?
Yeah, I mean, it's happened a few times this year, so it's honestly nothing new at this point, but I'm confident in the team, confident in the speed. We were great in Atlanta, and I don't see why we can't maybe, go get one back today and maybe have something go our way for once.
All right, good luck today.
So then, ready to roll here from, well, the back of the grid in this Talladega Super Speedway race. Christopher Bell on pole position now as we get ready to roll. You got the green striped Goodyear tires on the car today for Super Speedways as well as tracks like Pocono in Michigan. Now, the green flag is out and race 2, Brad Keselowski, a lot of work to do as he comes in the lowest driver in the playoffs, 20 points below the cut line. Keep as well in mind, Carson Hocevar's below the cut line, Alex Bowman for Colleague Racing there. He's going to Richard Childress Racing next season as Colleague. They still are in a position where they have no drivers for next season, maybe as well not even a future as a team going forward in the seasons to come as well. But as well below the cut line, outside of those guys, you got Shane Van Gisbergen, who's had a strong season, but a rough start to the playoffs in Atlanta. One of the things he has struggled a little bit with is consistency, and I think that's something you're going to see improve next season, but definitely it's going to bite him a little bit here as he is going to have to look for a good day today. But do keep in mind the eliminator race in this round, Watkins Glen road course, of course. That's going to give SVG a good opportunity to maybe even go in way deeper than he already is below the cut line and still have a chance to win his way through into that round of 12, that second round of the playoffs. For us, we come in 59 points above the cut line. It's quite simple. We only need 2 points of an advantage from what we're currently at on the cut line. We need to be 61 points above to basically guarantee no matter what happens, we'll still come out of Watkins Glen 1 point above the cut line, even in a worst case scenario. So it's a pretty good problem that we have here in Talladega Super Speedway, and it takes a lot of pressure off now as we can really just focus in on, relaxing and letting things happen. There's not really a sense of urgency when you're 59 points above the cut line. So we got 20 laps here in stage 1, and a field run is approximately anywhere between 11 to 13 laps. You can stretch it. So as we actually already have trouble on lap 3, and that's up front. That's the 99 of Trackhouse Racing's Kyle Busch with a tire failure already. The bad luck that he had so much more earlier in the season returns. And already Kyle Busch is out here in Talladega, and the likelihood of his first ever season without a win gets more and more likely as the races pass. How is this happening? Kyle Busch was able to win one time last season at Michigan with Richard Childress Racing, and what wasn't a very good season for him, an early playoff exit. This season misses the playoffs simply because he doesn't have a win, and here he is getting closer and closer to going winless. He's had more speed than he's had in a long time, but he just hasn't had the consistency, or the luck, I should say. It's been a lot of bad luck for the 99 team this season, and I'm really hopeful, assuming it does look like Kyle Busch will remain with Trackhouse Racing next season, I'm hopeful that things start to turn around for that team and that driver, because they have a lot of speed over there. They just haven't had the luck. Now, as we, of course, get this restart underway down this back straightaway as well, Justin Haley and that number 60 Castrol Edge machine. Watch out for him here today now, as we just got the news that RFK is expanding to 4 cars earlier in this episode to bring on Chase Briscoe, a 4-car operation at RFK. I'm curious to see, how they're going to do. They have certainly kind of taken over for Penske, or not, well, they have taken over for Penske Racing as a top Ford team. Penske, of course, was kind of the pinnacle, as we have 2 rows of 4 wide here into turn 1. The aggression is high early on, as look at these guys going at it. Josh Berry in the 4, his future is still unclear, but he's in the middle of 4 wide. 3 Fords right there together. William Byron on the far inside. A lot of playoff presence around us. Logano as well. Not a great start in Atlanta, but he ended up getting a subpar finish out of it with the late race caution kind of benefiting him a little bit there, as you got Austin Hill in that number 8, soon to be in the number 3 going into next season, as we have nowhere to go. We're 4 wide, and now we're actually just down to 2 wide and now clear, but we're all the way at the back of the grid. There's really not a whole lot I was in position to do right there, so we just kind of had to wait in and be patient. But unfortunately, that also meant they're actually still 4 wide, but it meant we're down in 38th place on lap 9 of this race here now, as we just continue to look for opportunities right to the back of that 22 of Joey Logano. But yeah, certainly not necessarily the start that I had in mind. Down the back straightaway, actually making a bit of an aggressive move on that Pennzoil machine, and we'll move through and take the position. So up to P37 as we go down into turn 3, but out of turn 4, seeing a bit more 4 wide action. William Sawalich for Legacy Motor Club up here on the outside in his Cup debut, and William Sawalich, of course, has absolutely dominated the win column in the Xfinity Series. 7 wins on the season. It is basically guaranteed William Sawalich will be behind the wheel of a Cup Series car next season in this career mode. But as well, it sounds like we're going through a bit of a transitional period where we could see quite a few Xfinity drivers jumping up into Cup cars next season, even without wins and a lot of success to their name, just based off of some of the rumors that I have been hearing. So we'll stay tuned, but it sounds like we could have a heck of a rookie class going into season 4 of this career mode. Now Christopher Bell started on pole. He's now outside the top 25 back here with us, and we just continue on this inside, trying to move forward slowly but surely here. Lap 12, no one pitted under that caution because we could not make it to the end of the stage from that point, so green flag pit stops are suddenly becoming a possibility now, as we're up into the top 25, looking to the outside of the 47 of Corey Heim. Now, of course, not been the best rookie season for Heim, and here goes pit stops now. Briscoe, playoff driver, in as well. Ryan Blaney, and I believe I just saw Brad Keselowski as well. So a few playoff guys come in, but a majority of the cars remain on the racetrack now as we pass Josh Berry in the number 4 up into the top 15 behind Todd Gilliland in the 34. And now you can see it looks like a bunch of cars are going to come into the pits.
Okay, box, pit now.
You get the call from James Small, so we'll dive down off of turn 4, and a majority of the field is going to pit here. I get door slammed by the 21 of Zane Smith, and then a stack up, and we actually get into the back of the 45. I got damage. I just ran into the back of the 45. So that's going to put us in the pit box a little bit longer than we would like to be. It would end up being over 18 seconds. It's going to be a 19.1 second pit stop, and you can see the ground loss right there. Now, fortunately, we still have some cars behind us there with the number 3 of Austin Dillon, his final 9 races of his Cup Series career underway now. But now, I mean, we'll have to wait another lap or so to see what the genuine damage is. But here comes the 3. He's actually going to get right up on us. A big shot to the back bumper from the number 3 RCR driver of Austin Dillon, soon to be co-owner alongside Kevin Harvick of Richard Childress Racing now as we head down this back straightaway. So Larson now as well in the pits. What a rebound drive for him in Atlanta after going a lap down due to some pit issues. But as we come through this tri-oval to the line, and it looks like we're only going to be P32 is right behind us. The 3 of Austin Dillon blows the tire, cautions out as our car actually smacks into the back of the 60 of Justin Haley, but the caution's going to fly. Everyone's going to stay out here, and we as well hit the back of the 60 under caution, so there is a possibility that we're going to get that bug where basically the car doesn't take off. It's been a bit of a up and down stage 1 so far. It's been a lengthy stage 1, but I decided to stay on the racetrack and just kind of test our luck and see what happens, and immediately I am going to get the confirmation. Yeah, we are not going. So we need to pull over and just let the field go here at this point now. So it's going to be 2 laps of racing here to end stage number 1, but we are not going to be even considered in the conversation now. As you can see, we lose a connection to everybody in front of us now, so it's just about bringing it back around at this point, and we're going to pit at the end of the stage as well. So out of turn 4, it's actually the 51 of Brett Moffitt leading the way for Rick Ware Racing, and sure enough, he's going to come through to win stage number 1 as well. Chandler Smith Colleague Racing has a couple cars up there as well with the 31 of Ty Dillon, but we end up P38. And yeah, very disappointing stage 1 there. Just not what we needed to have happen there a few times really in the stage. It just kind of never really materialized. We never really got anywhere, but fortunately we are in a position where this is not really going to matter to us too much. So we're going to come in and get 2 cans of fuel, 4 tires, and get back out on the racetrack. Nick Sanchez as well in the 3rd Andretti Global car up there in the top 5, having a good run. We gain 1 spot in the pit lane over Sammy Smith, but we're right here lined up behind a Talladega legend, Denny Hamlin, his final time at a track here where he's had some solid success at in the past. What can Hamlin do? And I will say, if we're in position to help Denny Hamlin again at the end of this race, I'm certainly going to take up the opportunity to try and push him to victory lane. Hamlin hasn't won since Richmond in the spring, early last season in season 2, and that was on a last lap aggressive restart. 2 laps ago, aggressive restart against Martin Truex Jr., and we haven't seen him return to victory lane since. Can he finally do it now, as we're going to go amped here from Talladega? And there you have Amped, and you saw it all live. We have moved our way into the top 30. Ty Gibbs, my teammate there on the 54, comes into the playoffs with more wins than anybody at 4 apiece now for him. Now, it's been a heck of a season for not only Ty Gibbs, but for myself as well. I think 2 of us drivers, both, of course, had the same rookie seasons. We have really kind of stepped up as the 2 future stars of this career mode, I think, now, as we still see 4 wide. We have had some really solid, aggressive racing so far in this race. The intensity is definitely there, as William Byron here. A great run for him he had going as well in Atlanta. Did that number 24 Valvoline Chevrolet Camaro now, as we continue to try and just follow him right now forward. Hamlin would jump up to the 2nd lane, so now he's going backwards. You got Kyle Larson there. 3 wide on the outside of the 2 of Cindric. Of course, we know Cindric on the exit of Penske Racing for Todd Gilliland to come through next season. Now 14 laps to go in stage number 2, and I'm pretty happy with what we're doing here compared to stage 1. We're just slowly picking off these positions, and we're just going forward. Now we got Sammy Smith there, Andretti Global rookie behind myself, and that number 27 lined up with us as we just continue to try and push this number 24 forward. We'll get past that 43 of Eric Jones on the exit of turn 2. Actually, he's going to fight back. A little bit of a stack up there, it looked like behind us. It kind of got strung out a little bit as you see Justin Haley on the far outside towards the outside wall, now going backwards with 12 to go in the stage. How about Chase Briscoe? He showed up in Atlanta. He was a surprise entrance in the playoffs with the win in Pocono. Well, he showed up in Atlanta, ran top 5 basically all day long. It was a great race from Briscoe, and suddenly he is putting himself in position to make it into the round of 12 if he can have a solid day here in Talladega. I think the big question is, what can he do at Watkins Glen? And Chase Briscoe's had a history of being a fairly solid road course racer, but now into the top 10 we go, passing the likes of Moffitt as well up the inside of Ryan Blaney, who's been very quiet all season long. 1 win on the season, but other than that, I mean, he's had some solid consistency. It was this race he won, by the way. He won Talladega earlier in the season after he had not a single top 10 effort beforehand on the season, but since then he has certainly turned things around, and Blaney has been consistent, but obviously we haven't quite seen him consistently fighting for wins now as we just continue to march our way forward following this 24. But we're about to hit the pit stop area, as I said, about 11 to 13 laps. That's kind of the area we are looking at. we pitted a little bit early in stage 1 compared to the fuel we had left in the car. Not only me, but everybody else as well. So I am curious to see how far these guys are willing to push it this time, and it looks like it's going to be right here. You can see Zane Smith in the number 21 Wood Brothers Racing Machine. He is going to pit on the exit of turn 4. Byron as well. I nearly run into the back of William Byron as we head into the pit lane for a green flag pit stops, and we have a lot of cars pitting here. This time a lot better of a pit entry, but we still lose a little bit of ground there. Tyler Reddick, Chase Elliott going past, but we have a 15.3 second pit stop, and look at this. It's going to get us right here, basically where we were. It's actually going to be behind the 43 of Eric Jones now, as we'll be alongside the 51 of Brett Moffitt, who will get clear. So we'll slide in front of Chase Elliott, and then we got as well, I believe, Carson Hocevar, the Brickyard 400 winner, just behind him. And yes, that is exactly who it is. So we would actually have Hocevar get past Elliott, so he would get connected to my back bumper here now as we come back around here. And there's the 17 of Chris Buescher just exiting the pits now. He will give up the lead to, well, whoever's in front now, as we see a bit of smoke there. Byron ran into the back of the 31 of Ty Dillon. No caution. We're all good there now as we continue on the outside. And there's a caution. We have 2 cars crashing into turn 1. It's the 8 of Austin Hill. Reddick gets a piece of it as well. And as well, the Andretti Global machine of Sammy Smith. What has happened there? As we'll get a look at it in just a moment, but we're P7, and it was Hill getting ran over by John Hunter Nemechek, and then Sammy Smith, I'm assuming, had the same situation where, yes, he gets hit by Corey Heim and turned into the inside. So these guys exiting the pit lane, you never really see this at Talladega, and they both get turned down to the inside. Hill came back up the track, of course, but that would leave us with only 2 laps to go in stage 2, and that as well, that caution allowed Chris Buescher to maintain the lead. 1 win on the season for Buescher, looking for 2. We saw a only 1 win driver last episode pick up the win with Chase Elliott now, as they are already 4 wide briefly behind us. They were trying at least. Elliott will get down in front of Daniel Suarez for that Meyer Shank 06 Ford Mustang. We are in line behind the 21 of Zane Smith. Not anymore. He jumps up to the outside, so we'll stick in behind the 43 here of Eric Jones, and he's suddenly the favorite to go to the lead of this race now. We got help from the 26 of Carson Hocevar now. And there goes Buescher backwards. We have a huge push. I'm going for it. 3 wide through the middle. Buescher clear now on the outside, just 2 wide, and help from the 26 and to the lead. Coming to the final lap of stage 2. Stage 1 was, well, a total disaster. We didn't do anything. We, of course, lost the connection with the pack at the very end. Now the 26 disconnects at 3 wide for second. White flag in the air for stage number 2. One more time around. If we can hang on to the stage win, that will be an additional playoff point we can take going into the round of 12. Down to the inside we are, though, and Hocevar has the run in the middle. We cover it off now. Here comes the 17 briefly, but the 43 has the run as well on the inside. We'll jump down and cover him. Now the 17 to the outside now. Which lane do we stick with? I'm going to go with the middle, and Hocevar, he has a car closer behind him than the 43 has. So here we go in the middle through 3 and 4, and we get the 15 of Ryan Priest disconnected from the 17 of Buescher, and we got a bunch of help still from Hocevar. We have the only help, actually. No one else is getting pushed around us down this run straightaway. It's side by side through the middle, 3 wide, and Carson Hocevar is going to push us to win stage number 2. He disconnects right at the end, and we get a playoff point. 10 additional points, of course, to increase our likelihood of coming out of here advanced already on points going into Watkins Glen. But yeah, I'm really confident in this car suddenly after that, of course. Now, we were able to get our way forward, get through the green flag pit stops, put our car in the position we need to. We were able to make a move there 3 wide through the middle and make it stick. So everybody pits for 4 tires and feel. We only see 2 spots change around there in the top 10. Zane Smith, Christopher Bell both move their way forward. So suddenly, we are in command here with just over 20 laps of racing in stage number 3. Eric Jones joins us on this front row with 22 to go. Carson Hocevar, a good amount of points. He comes into this race below the cut line, so we know Hocevar needs the points. As well, who's up here? Brad Keselowski, another driver. This first round, of course, sees so much opportunity with Talladega and Watkins Glen to see some big names be out of the playoffs in the first race, and some unexpected names names move on, like a Carson Hocevar or a Chase Briscoe. The big name, of course, out is Brad Keselowski, but if he can stay up here the remainder of stage 3, he'll be looking pretty good going into Watkins Glen. Now as we come through turn number 3, Kyle Larson, he's been pretty absent so far as well today. Of course, in Atlanta, he was very fast, fell off, of course, with the 1-lap penalty, came back and nearly won that race until the late race yellow, but he was certainly in there in the conversation with myself, but he really hasn't been existent up front here today in Talladega. But we lead lap 1 of this third and final stage, coming to 20 laps to go, and I don't really have an issue with just staying out front. Of course, we're going to be the one punching the hole for everybody, so we're going to be losing some fuel more than others, but now you can see here comes Ross the Boss Chastain to the outside, bringing Bubba Wallace through the middle, and now just like that we go from having a nice comfortable inside line lead to we're 3 wide, and now we're losing the lead, and now we are 4 wide. Briefly behind us there, Nick Sanchez into the mix, but we get back down in front of our future teammate of Chandler Smith as Chastain's going to drop back into third, and now he would drop down in line behind us, and we go to the inside of Bubba Wallace without any issues. He didn't even try to cover it off, so just like that we return to the lead here from Talladega. Chastain, Bubba Wallace are second and third as we head through this tri-oval now, and we just continue to be in control of the pace of this race, which is exactly what we want, but you can just see how quickly you can lose that. Look at the run Cindric gets with help from Chase Elliott, the 15 of Ryan Preece, but now Chastain gets connected again to my back bumper now as Chastain 1 win still on the season. It surprises me how many drivers, that we expect to win 2, 3, 4 races even now only have 1 win this season. Now is actually, you can see again, 3 wide for the lead, and Chastain went to the middle, and now here comes Austin Hill, and Cindric's going to get clear, and he would drop down in front of me, and I would have help now from the 8 of Austin Hill, but staying on the inside as a caution comes out has done nothing but help us, as it's our teammate Ty Gibbs in the 54 blows a tire, and that brings out the yellow with 15 laps to go. But it's going to be a pretty straightforward situation here, so this is going to make it close on feel. But we're going to pit for 4 tires and fill it up on fuel, and our pit crew gets the job done. We beat Cindric out of the pit lane and return to the lead here from Talladega as we come through the Geico restart zone, and the green flag is out once again, and now just over 10 laps remain from Talladega, and as we cross the stripe, it's 12 laps to go, and we have 12 laps of fuel. So this is where it's going to get interesting. Well, we see another caution before this race is over. We've already seen enough green flag running to get 2 green flag pit stop cycles through, which is a rarity in this game to even have it once in a race, let alone twice in Talladega of all places. So this is going to be interesting to see if it can go green until the end or not. Ryan Preece just behind us. Denny Hamlin into the mix as well. His final time ever at Talladega Superspeedway, and he would love to go out with at least winning 1 race before his career is over. Hamlin gets to second place now in front of the 15 of Ryan Preece. Hamlin is putting himself in position out of turn 2 down the back straightaway. He's going to jump up to the outside. Here comes Denny Hamlin, and Hamlin takes the lead from Talladega now as we have help from Sammy Smith in the number 27, and I'm going to let Hamlin jump down in front of me, of course, as a teammate, wanting to see Hamlin win 1 final time before he retires at the end of season 3 of this career mode. We would get tucked in line behind this number 11. We tried to push him to victory lane in Daytona to get him into the playoffs, and it just wasn't quite meant to be. Hamlin missed the playoffs in his final season of NASCAR Cup Series competition, but now he's going all the way up to the outside, so we have to try and get connected with him somehow, but this is not what you want to see, because here comes the 31 of Ty Dillon. We're going to jump down and throw a block on the 31, and now contact there with the 31, and he pulls out there, as I certainly didn't make it easy on one of our current rivals here. That 31 car now, as we would stay tucked in line behind Hamlin and surprisingly making this outside lane work, but I was trying to get connected to him to pull him down to the inside as we continue down this back straightaway. So you got the 27, the 16 all there in the mix behind us, but Hamlin continues all the way up against the outside wall, and you see how much time is being given up doing this in the corner, but it doesn't matter. There's a caution, and it's actually the 34 of Todd Gilliland who's blown a tire on the exit of 4. That brings out the yellow, and on top of that, brings everybody into the pit lane to make sure they can make it to the end. So we're basically just taking no tires and we're taking a very brief splash of field. However, William Sawalich is going to elect to stay on the racetrack. A bold move there. Gilliland's day will be over. He joins Austin Dillon and Kyle Busch out. Joe Gibbs Racing has been having a solid day. Joey Logano right now is towards the bottom of the grid. That's not good for the 2018 and 2022 Cup Series champion now in his bid to make it into the round of 12. The green flag is out, and now we run P3 behind William Sawalich, who remained on the racetrack. Now it's going to be 6 laps of racing now remaining from Talladega Superspeedway, and we have put ourselves in position to win this race. But as we've seen many times this season, when we've done that, something goes wrong. So what's going to happen today? Not a great restart for Denny Hamlin. I think his chances of winning are gone due to Sawalich staying on the racetrack, forcing him to the outside line now. As I'm looking for an opportunity, can I maybe jump up in front of that 11 to pull him forward a little bit now? And you're going to see me think about it, move up, bringing Bowman with me as well for Colleague Racing, as that's my former car, number 16. And now, suddenly, we might take the lead here out of turn 4. We have help from the 16, and Sawalich has nothing. He's going to have help maybe from Corey Heim, but we got to push down this front straightaway into the lead again in Talladega as we come to 5 laps of racing here now in race 2 of the playoffs. Now, Bowman committed to our back bumper. As I say that, he says, I'm out of here. He pulls back off our bumper. Here comes now the 47 of Corey Heim as we continue to now put into focus, just trying to keep these guys at bay. They were briefly 4 wide in the background, but here comes down the back straightaway Reddick with help from Hocevar, and then the 2 RFK Castrol Edge cars. Keselowski with help from Justin Haley. It's 3 by 3, 2 rows deep for the lead here in Talladega now, and the 6 has the advantage on the exit of 4, but now I have help from the 47, a fellow manufacturer teammate, of course, as we head down through this tri-oval, but it's side by side a drag race, a 3-wide drag race. Imagine the scenes if that's the final lap. Well, we would have won the race if that was the final lap, so I would not have complained, but the 60 is going to hang out. The 6 are 4 wide briefly now for second position. Reddick on the far outside still has help from Hocevar. Reddick, the top driver in the points, in the top 10 without a win this season, and for that reason he missed the playoffs after what has been a very solid season for Reddick, and here he is fighting back on the outside as we come to 3 laps to go here from Talladega, where we once again lead at the line. Reddick dropping back now. He needs help again from Carson Hocevar as we roll through 1 and 2. The 47 is going to get disconnected from me. That 45 pulls him back. You got Riley Herbst up here in the mix. Ty Dillon in the 31, which is probably the last car we want to see on our back bumper as we come to 2 laps to go, and he's going to go 3 wide to the inside. We need to go down and cover him. 2 to go from Talladega, and now our rival is glued to our back bumper. Not exactly what you want to see, but if we can just manage to stay in front of him, I'm not going to be afraid to get aggressive now. He looks to the outside. We cover him off, an aggressive block, but we got to block aggressive if you want to win here in Talladega, and let alone as well in the playoffs. The 31 to the inside of the turn 4. A bit more contact here now, as this is the only car I'm ever going to block this aggressive on at Talladega now as we approach the final lap. White flag waves from Talladega, and we lead. What is Ty Dillon willing to do in the 31? What does Colleague Racing want Ty Dillon to do as he's on the back bumper of what they consider just an absolute nemesis to them, as myself behind the wheel as we exit turn 2. Again, the 31 to the inside, a bit more contact. He's still right on us now. Corey Heim side by side for 3rd with Riley Herbst down this back straightaway for the final time here now, as 3 wins on the season could become 4. The 31 up to the top outside wall caught me off guard. Now the 47's coming. A big block thrown on the 47. We cover him off just in time. Here comes Herbst in the middle. We jump up to that middle lane, and I think we might have it now as we go down into the tri-oval. They're 3 wide for second. The 47 coming. We jump back down in front, and we're going to win in Talladega. Let's go, guys. That makes up for last week and all the other ones. Thank you so much. We're in the round of 12. We'll take it. Unbelievable.
Great drive, man. That was all you today. Incredible.
We've had some wins stolen from us this season, including last episode. I think we can have 5-6 wins by now, but we'll take 4. And certainly redemption here in Talladega now. We are a super speedway winner for the first time in our Cup Series career. We've won on road courses, short tracks, now super speedways as well, as it is turning into a heck of a competitive season. We matched the most wins of anybody at 4 with Ty Gibbs, Joe Gibbs Racing, and their young crop of drivers. are starting to take over here now, as you as well, of course, have seen the finishing order in the background. It's interesting because some big names with some struggles. Brad Keselowski ends up with a bad finish after his teammate pulled out of line, and we'll take a look at that playoff grid. So myself and Elliott locked in, of course, but Buescher is the best on points over Chastain, Byron, Larson, Blaney, Logano, Briscoe, Gibbs. I mean, and honestly, everybody above the cut line is quite comfortable, as Bell is the last one in after a poor finish, but he's still 21 above. Hocevar, Bowman, 21-29 back, Keselowski 30 back, and Shane Van Gisbergen, a rough day in Talladega, 31 points below the cut line. He's the only one that I can see going through into the round of 12 with a win in Watkins Glen. Keselowski's had the speed all year. He's had 2 rough finishes to start the playoffs, which is unfortunate for him. But that's going to wrap it up for me. We'll see who advances to the round of 12 in Watkins Glen. Anything can happen. Shane Van Gisbergen could change the world. I'll see you guys then. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.